When I turned 68, I made a discovery that surprised even me. I'd spent decades dismissing almond milk without ever giving it a fair chance. Maybe it was old habits or the simple comfort of sticking to regular dairy milk like I'd always done. But as someone who cares deeply about wellness, both my own and that of my peers, I realized I was overlooking something that could bring real relief and enjoyment, especially for those of us who experience the discomforts of lactose intolerance. If you've ever felt that familiar rumble in your stomach after a bowl of cereal, or noticed more fatigue after a milky cup of coffee, you're not alone. Many seniors find themselves navigating these symptoms without realizing that shifting to something as simple as almond milk can help manage those unwanted side effects and improve everyday comfort. Before I go into how and why almond milk became an integral part of my own life, let's talk about the bigger picture. Lactose intolerance is incredibly common among older adults, partly because our bodies may produce less of the enzyme lactase as we age. This can lead to persistent bloating, digestive upset, and a general sense of unease that can sap the joy from meals and social gatherings. Sure, there's medication that helps, and some folks just power through and deal with the discomfort. But the more I spoke with friends, clients, and fellow community members, the more I realized how many of us are dealing with this in silence. The tragedy is that so many seniors end up curbing their social activities or skipping out on family gatherings where food is abundant, all because they're trying to avoid the after effects of dairy. That isolation or reluctance to enjoy mealtime can rob us of an important source of happiness and human connection in our later years. The good news is that when we address this issue by investigating alternatives like almond milk, it can open doors to better digestive comfort, renewed pleasure in eating, and an overall feeling of greater control over our health. We all know how precious energy is at our age, and if we can sidestep some of the issues that make us feel sluggish or uncomfortable, why wouldn't we give that a try? That's why I'm excited to share 3 key benefits of almond milk for seniors with lactose intolerance. I'll also walk you through 5 essential perspectives that can help you integrate these benefits into daily life. It's not just about substituting one beverage for another. It's about embracing a shift that can have a ripple effect throughout your day, from improved digestion to more enjoyable moments around the dinner table. I've spent years supporting older adults in making nutritional shifts through my work as a holistic wellness coach. I'm not a doctor, and I won't make any claims that almond milk is a miracle cure for all that ails us. But I've seen how small, strategic diet changes can boost both physical comfort and emotional well-being over time. It's about tailoring simple, doable steps to your own preferences and needs. If you decide to stick around, I promise I'll share what I've learned, both from my own journey and from seniors who have successfully made this transition, and hopefully inspire you to explore whether almond milk might be a good fit for you. By the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of how this beverage can help manage lactose intolerance in a way that feels not just healthy, but also enjoyable. Now, I'd love to hear from you throughout this conversation. Feel free to reflect on your own experiences, maybe the last time you felt discomfort after a creamy dish, or the times you've wondered if something else might suit you better. Let's dive in and explore why so many of us find a renewed sense of ease and satisfaction once we stop ignoring almond milk. The first perspective that often catches seniors off guard is the notion that dairy is the only real source of calcium and nutrition. It's something a lot of us grew up believing, especially when advertisements hammered home the message that milk builds strong bones and not much else can compare. However, this is a limited view that can keep seniors from exploring alternatives that might be gentler on the stomach. Let me share the story of Maria, a 71-year-old friend who used to start her day with a tall glass of dairy milk because she felt it was essential for her bone health. Yet she dealt with frequent bloating and cramps, which she attributed to just getting older. One day she discovered a pattern. Her discomfort peaked right after her morning milk. That small revelation led her to consider almond milk, which she had initially dismissed as a trendy, younger crowd product. Maria's misconception was that without dairy milk, she'd miss out on the nutrients critical for her age, particularly calcium. But what she learned is that many brands of almond milk are fortified with calcium and vitamin D, making them a perfectly viable option. She also discovered that foods like leafy greens, tofu, and certain fish provide additional bone-supporting minerals. By broadening her perspective, she realized that milk isn't the sole gatekeeper of strong bones. At first, she feared almond milk would lack the creamy texture she loved, or that it wouldn't work in her beloved cup of tea. But after trying a few varieties, including unsweetened and vanilla-flavored, she found one that suited her taste to a T. Within weeks, the bloating subsided, and she experienced more energy in the morning. The shift didn't solve every problem in her life, but it made one daily ritual a lot more pleasant. What might help you consider this move is recognizing that there's a spectrum of calcium-rich and bone-friendly foods. Almond milk, especially the fortified kind, can be a convenient piece of that puzzle. Think about swapping dairy milk in simple dishes like oatmeal, coffee, or smoothies. You'll likely notice that almond milk's mild taste often goes unnoticed when combined with other flavors, and yet it provides a comfortable alternative if you've been struggling with lactose issues. The physical benefit here is a reduction in digestive stress, less bloating, fewer cramps. The emotional benefit is that you can still savor your favorite morning beverage without the nagging worry that it will come back to haunt you. For many seniors, feeling at ease after a meal or a drink significantly elevates the day's quality. It's one more way to maintain a sense of control over our bodies when so many aspects of aging might feel beyond our control. If you're considering a first step, start small. Maybe pick up a single carton of almond milk next time you go shopping and try it in just one meal or drink you already enjoy. No need to turn your whole diet upside down. This gentle experiment can help you figure out if it's the right fit for your daily routine. Once you do, you might be surprised at how quickly your body thanks you. Giving yourself the space to test out new options keeps life interesting. And at our age, it's energizing to remember we can adapt and find comfort in fresh ways. Another perspective worth exploring is that discomfort after a meal isn't something we simply have to accept as part of getting older. I've met many seniors who've made that resignation. Frank, a 76-year-old retiree, confided that every time he indulged in ice cream or had a glass of milk with cookies, he braced for an upset stomach. Yet he considered this a fair trade for enjoying some of his favorite foods. "It's worth it," he used to say, until he realized that the lingering cramps and extra trips to the bathroom started making him dread any dairy treat. He'd grown up in a household where milkshakes were the ultimate comfort food, so the idea of completely removing dairy felt almost like a betrayal of cherished memories. The misconception here is that a little upset is no big deal. However, when these issues crop up frequently, they can impact everything from mood to social plans. Frank found himself declining invitations to dessert outings with friends because he couldn't enjoy them fully. When a close friend suggested almond milk ice cream alternatives, he initially scoffed, equating them with bland health foods. But after some gentle encouragement, he tried a scoop of almond milk chocolate ice cream. To his surprise, he didn't experience the usual post-dessert discomfort, and it still satisfied his sweet tooth. What Frank's story teaches us is that lactose intolerance can be managed without sacrificing pleasure. The trick is to reframe how we view treats and daily comforts. Actionable advice here includes exploring the growing variety of almond milk products, everything from plain milk to creamers and even ice cream alternatives. Check the ingredient labels because options abound. Some brands add sugar, which might not be ideal for everyone, so it's worth comparing versions labeled unsweetened or lightly sweetened. Physically, this shift can help you regain a sense of normalcy and avoid painful bloating or embarrassing episodes of gas. Emotionally, it's about reclaiming joy in food-related activities. No one wants to be the person constantly worried about how their body might react at the dinner table. If you're nodding in recognition because you also brace yourself for an uncomfortable aftermath every time you eat something creamy, consider trying a lactose-free treat. The relief you feel can surprise you. It's certainly not a magic wand. Some folks may still have other digestive sensitivities. But removing lactose from the equation can make an enormous difference for many. As a next step, reflect on something you love. Maybe your morning cereal, a bedtime glass of milk, or a weekly ice cream indulgence, and ask yourself if you'd like to experience that treat without the discomfort. If yes, exploring almond milk-based options may be well worth a try. I'd love to know, have you already sampled any lactose-free products or alternatives like almond milk? Sometimes sharing our little wins can encourage others who are on the fence. If you have a moment, consider leaving a quick note or comment about what worked or didn't for you. That way we can all learn and grow together in this journey toward more comfortable, enjoyable nutrition. The third key benefit of almond milk for seniors with lactose intolerance isn't just about managing digestive issues. It's also about expanding our mealtime possibilities and recapturing a sense of culinary fun. There's a widely held assumption among older adults that new foods or cooking methods are complicated, expensive, or won't match the flavors we've come to love. I remember speaking with Gladys, a 72-year-old grandmother who prided herself on her decades-old recipes, passed down through the family. She would never have believed she'd be using almond milk in her famous mashed potatoes, but that's exactly what happened when one of her granddaughters, who has a dairy allergy, visited for a week. Gladys initially thought this would ruin her dish. In fact, she was sure her granddaughter would have to settle for a subpar version, but after adding the same seasonings, garlic, pepper, and a hint of butter flavor, she discovered that the texture was still creamy and the flavor was almost the same. The real surprise was that Gladys herself experienced less heaviness and stomach rumbling afterward, something she'd always chalked up to carbs. Realizing that almond milk could deliver similar results without discomfort opened up a world of new experiments. She later tried it in homemade soups and even her morning pancakes. One by one, she found these substitutions made her kitchen time more joyful because she could focus on the art of cooking rather than bracing for how she might feel later. The emotional benefit here is significant. Food has always been one of life's greatest pleasures, a source of comfort and creativity. When we expand our ingredients list to include almond milk, we're making a small but meaningful investment in preserving that joy. Moreover, these changes can become delightful opportunities to bond with younger family members, many of whom might already be trying dairy substitutes for their own reasons, anything from taste preference to ethical choices. By experimenting with almond milk recipes, seniors can stay connected to modern cooking trends while still holding on to the warmth of family traditions. To start experimenting, pick a favorite recipe that uses dairy milk, like a creamy soup or a baked casserole. Replace the dairy milk with almond milk at a 1-to-1 ratio. Pay attention to the final taste and texture. Some folks like to add a little cornstarch or flour if they want extra thickness, while others might find almond milk works fine as is. The advantage is that you can always adjust seasonings or cooking times to get the texture just right. Physically, you'll likely notice less post-meal sluggishness or digestive upset if lactose intolerance was an issue. Mentally, the satisfaction of creating something delicious without the unwelcome side effects can be a real mood booster. One tip is to start with a neutral, unsweetened almond milk for savory dishes. Vanilla-flavored versions can add an unexpected sweetness that's great for desserts, but might clash with a soup or pasta sauce. Look out for how you react physically. Some notice results immediately, while others need a few trials to see if the change truly impacts how they feel. As you gain confidence, consider branching out to other plant-based milks. The market is loaded with options like oat, soy, or cashew milk, each with unique properties. But almond milk is often the easiest to find and generally well-liked for its mild flavor profile, making it a strong contender for seniors who want a smooth transition away from dairy. Sometimes simply knowing you have choices can lift your spirits. If you're used to a routine that revolves around dairy, this might seem like a big switch. But in practice, it can be as simple as rotating 1 or 2 recipes a week. If at any point you miss dairy's richness, remember you can gradually blend your approach, use almond milk most of the time, and indulge in small amounts of dairy when you're willing to accept the consequences. The goal is not to punish yourself, it's to discover new routes to comfort and enjoyment. At this point, you might be wondering if almond milk truly can offer enough nutrients to replace dairy milk. While I don't claim it's a complete substitute for every nutrient dairy offers, many brands fortify their products with calcium, vitamin D, and other vitamins that seniors require. The best approach is to check labels, experiment with different brands, and pay attention to how your body responds. If you have any underlying health conditions, like kidney issues that can be affected by certain minerals, be sure to talk to your healthcare provider. No single food will solve all your health challenges, but adding almond milk to your diet can certainly be part of a balanced, senior-friendly meal plan. Before we move on, I'd love to invite you to think of one cherished recipe that might benefit from this substitution. Is it your morning cereal, a beloved family dish, or even a dessert you've been hesitant to eat? Let your curiosity lead the way, and you might be pleasantly surprised by the results. Another powerful way almond milk can benefit seniors with lactose intolerance is by fostering a renewed sense of social confidence. It might sound odd at first, but consider how many of our gatherings revolve around food. Family potlucks, church socials, holiday feasts. If you frequently worry that a dish containing dairy will leave you feeling uncomfortable or anxious about digestive flare-ups, that worry can overshadow the joy of these events. Bob, a 73-year-old from my local community center, used to plan his day around avoiding certain foods when he had an outing. He'd eat sparingly beforehand and even pack antacids in his pocket. Despite these precautions, he felt an undercurrent of stress whenever friends invited him for brunch. The misconception here is that it's just a little tummy trouble, but Bob realized that the stress of anticipating discomfort was affecting his willingness to socialize. He started trying out almond milk after a friend brought a homemade almond milk quiche to a potluck. Intrigued, he asked for the recipe and began making small swaps at home. To his surprise, not only did he feel better physically, but he also noticed a more positive outlook when he accepted invitations. He no longer feared that one wrong bite would ruin his night. Over time, he got bolder, speaking up to request lactose-free options when dining out and even hosting his own get-togethers featuring dishes made with almond milk. This emotional shift is huge. Seniors often find themselves more isolated, sometimes by choice, as social situations become stressful or physically taxing. By finding dairy substitutes that agree with our bodies, we free ourselves to engage more fully in communal experiences. There's real power in being able to trust that you can eat comfortably while catching up with old friends or meeting new ones. Physically, the relief from bloating or cramping allows you to focus on the conversations and laughter unfolding around you. Emotionally, it's liberating not to have to keep mental tabs on which foods might send you rushing to the bathroom. You can simply be present. If you resonate with Bob's experience, consider preparing or bringing an almond milk-based dish to your next social event. That way, you know there's at least one item you can enjoy without worry. Another tip is to communicate with your hosts in advance. Often, friends and family are more than willing to accommodate dietary preferences if they know about them. Don't underestimate how supportive people can be when they understand your reasons for needing dairy-free options. When you show up confidently, others usually appreciate learning about alternatives that might benefit them too. Ultimately, enjoying mealtime without dread can amplify the good feelings you get from shared experiences. This is about reintroducing the pleasures of togetherness and letting go of the distractions that stem from digestive discomfort. As you embrace almond milk, you might find other small ways to support your social confidence, like carrying lactase supplements just in case, or focusing on fiber-rich side dishes to keep your digestion smoother. These small steps add up to a big change in how you move through your day and engage with the people around you. I'm curious, does stress about digestive issues ever influence your decision to attend social gatherings? Many people have stories about giving up certain events or feeling a level of tension that undermines the fun. If you'd like to share, or even just acknowledge it privately, you might find that discovering a comfortable alternative, like almond milk, lightens a burden you didn't fully realize you were carrying. Finally, almond milk can serve as a gateway to a more holistic shift in how we approach well-being as seniors. Many folks assume that a single dietary change won't make a big difference, but this is another misconception that deserves rethinking. Consider Harriet, a 69-year-old woman who started by replacing her morning latte's dairy milk with almond milk to ease her lactose intolerance. She was skeptical that it would improve her overall health, yet once she made that initial swap, she gained confidence. She started looking at other areas of her routine, her sugar intake, her hydration habits, even gentle exercises she could do at home. Harriet's story highlights a positive domino effect. When one small change pays off, it can spark the motivation to tackle other areas of health. After about a month, she noticed her energy levels were better in the late mornings, so she used that energy to add a 15-minute walk after breakfast. As her digestion improved and she felt lighter, she found more enjoyment in those walks, which led to better circulation and a clearer mind. No single step was revolutionary on its own, but they all work together to create a more vibrant daily life. Physically, your body thrives when you reduce irritants like lactose. Emotionally, each successful tweak reinforces your sense of self-efficacy, an empowering feeling that, yes, I can still adapt and flourish. This mindset can apply to everything from trying new recipes to exploring gentle yoga or joining a local health club. We often talk about independence as we age, but independence also comes from being proactive about our choices. When you see that you can actively shape your comfort level, like how Harriet did, you're reminded that aging doesn't have to mean surrendering to every ache or limitation. If this resonates, think about using almond milk as a starting point for broader change. Maybe keep a small journal of how you feel after meals. Are you less bloated or tired when you avoid dairy? If yes, that's proof that your body appreciates the consideration. From there, you might explore other dietary adjustments, like cutting back on sugary treats or adding an extra serving of vegetables at dinner. Each choice can feed into a healthier overall lifestyle, one in which you still enjoy favorite flavors and social experiences, but with fewer drawbacks. The practical step is to remain curious, keep experimenting, and be kind to yourself when you slip into old habits. The emotional reward is a sense of ongoing growth at a stage in life when many assume growth is no longer on the menu. As we wrap up these perspectives, I encourage you to notice if a small wave of optimism is stirring in you. Aging is not a passive experience. There's a lot we can do to shape our well-being. If almond milk is a path toward feeling better and enjoying food more, why not give it a try? You don't have to commit to it forever, but a test run might reveal comfort and enjoyment you never expected. In reflecting on everything we've covered, remember there are 3 core benefits of almond milk for seniors dealing with lactose intolerance. First, it can ease uncomfortable digestive symptoms like bloating and cramps. Second, it offers a flexible, fortified source of calcium and vitamin D that can help maintain bone health without forcing you to rely on dairy. Third, it opens the door to more positive social and culinary experiences, freeing you to enjoy meals and gatherings without the nagging concern of an upset stomach. But these benefits are more than bullet points. They represent the possibility of experiencing greater comfort and satisfaction in your day-to-day life. Now is a great time to consider taking action. There's no need for alarmist thinking. This isn't a race against the clock. But there is a gentle urgency in the sense that each day we continue to tolerate discomfort is one more day we miss out on the relief and pleasure we could be enjoying. Picture yourself a month from now, seamlessly adding almond milk to your coffee or stirring it into a savory sauce, feeling lighter and less constrained by digestive woes. Envision sitting at the dinner table without second-guessing every bite, or heading to a potluck confident that you found alternatives that let you participate fully. Those images might motivate you to take that first step. If you're ready to dip your toe in the water, start by picking up a carton of almond milk during your next grocery trip. For those who want a bolder move, try swapping it into your favorite recipe or even hosting a family dinner that showcases an almond milk dish. If you're someone who likes a systematic approach, consider tracking how you feel after each meal for a week. Compare your experiences on days you use almond milk versus days you stick with dairy. That simple tracking can give you real insight into whether this change makes a noticeable difference for you. I also invite you to share this journey with others. Maybe you have a spouse or friend who's also dealing with lactose intolerance. Make it a team effort. Taste test different almond milk varieties together and compare notes. Or join an online community for seniors exploring new dietary strategies. If you'd like more guidance, keep an eye out for local workshops or reach out to a holistic wellness coach who can tailor a program to your specific needs. Each layer of engagement, whether it's just buying a carton of almond milk or completely revamping your meal plan, contributes to a healthier, more fulfilling lifestyle. Ultimately, the most empowering aspect of this exploration is realizing that you're still in the driver's seat. Aging doesn't mean giving up control or settling for discomfort. On the contrary, it's a chapter of life where your experience, wisdom, and intuition can guide you to choices that enrich your days. Almond milk might seem like a small piece of the puzzle, but for many seniors, it's a catalyst for broader well-being. By refusing to ignore it, you open yourself up to the possibility of a more comfortable and enjoyable life. One cup, one dish, one social gathering at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope I've sparked a little curiosity and hope in you about what almond milk might bring to your table. Whether you decide to give it a try or simply feel better informed, remember that each of us holds the power to shape our wellness journey. After all, you've earned the right to enjoy the years ahead in the best possible health and happiness.